My name is Ralph Fulton. I'm the creative director at Playground Games, and we are the developer of Forza Horizon 2. So it's the sequel to the original Forza Horizon. I guess the answer to your final question is we set Playground Games up in 2010, and we. We're looking for a partner. We're looking for someone we could make great racing games with. We found Turn 10 Studios at Microsoft, and we started working with them on the original Forza Horizon. And obviously the rest, I guess, is history. We're now almost at the end of Forza Horizon 2. I would almost say it possibly deserves a higher award. You need to think of a higher award. In all seriousness, I think what we've been able to do with Forza Horizon 2 through a combination of factors. So, first of all, we're on a new platform which gives us so many possibilities. We've been able to do so many more things on Xbox One than we could do on Xbox 360. And second of all, having the original game out there, getting feedback from people like yourselves, from our fans most importantly, who tell us what they love about the game, also what they'd love to see happen in the next one. I feel like we've made in Horizon 2 the Horizon game that our fans want to see. You know, I think we've answered some criticisms, we've added some new innovations which I think are going to make the game much more enjoyable, much more fun for players. And I think we've really refined what it is that was great about Horizon and brought it to a larger stage on Xbox One. Right at the start of the game, you landed at a port in northern Italy, so on the Mediterranean coast. And yeah, you're absolutely right. That's based on the Amalfi Coast, which is just a beautiful part of the world, incredible coastal roads. And then you will have driven inland up to Tuscany, where the festival is now located. So again, Tuscany is one of the most beautiful parts of the world. And I think you missed it in the presentation, but I told everyone that I think we made a really smart choice at the start of this project in selecting our location, because southern France and northern Italy are just incredibly varied, incredibly beautiful, great driving roads, and of course we've been able to include a city of Nice, small towns, historic villages. It's just a really lovely place to drive around. You know, everybody says that to me, and I don't actually get to go on the trips. We do send a lot of people from the studio on these research trips, because it's really important that everybody working on the game has been there and understands the place that we're trying to recreate. And they would ask me to state that it's really hard work. The trips they go on, they cover a lot of distance, they log a lot of miles, and they bring back so much reference material for us, photographs, videos, that we then pour over in the studio as we select the perfect locations for our world. So we take different approaches across the two games, but our philosophy is the same. We still want to recreate real life as authentically as we possibly can. So what we do in Horizon is we use what's called DEM data, which is basically top-down satellite mapping of basically the whole of Europe we got, which gives us the height mapping of Europe to a resolution of 1 meter. So it's a different technique than they use on Motorsport for racetracks, but the principle is the same. We want to get as much accurate detail about the real world as possible into our game, and then we start to craft it into the world that you see in the game today. So it creates an as you can imagine, incredibly detailed mesh. But what that does is we're not trying to fictionalize a mountain or a hill or a valley. We know exactly how deep, how high, what the topography of that location is, and that cuts out a lot of guesswork. You know, we want to use our artistic abilities where they need to be used, rather than guessing what height a mountain is, if that makes sense. I think the most obvious example is our seamless online. So I think we had a good multiplayer system in Forza Horizon. I think, if I'm perfectly honest, it wasn't great. I felt we could have done more. We've been enabled to do more by Xbox One. So the combination of Xbox One, Xbox Live, dedicated servers, smart match technology, which now allows asynchronous matchmaking while you drive around the game. It means that we've been able to completely eliminate lobbies. You know, the lobbies that we used to sit in for what seemed like hours, waiting for other people to join or a race to finish, they're all gone now. When you say that in Horizon 2 you want to jump online, you press a button and you continue driving. and the game does everything for you in the background. It synchronizes time of day, it synchronizes weather, it synchronizes the online traffic, it brings other people into your world, and you've never stopped driving. You're still driving around the world, you're leveling up, you're exploring, it's great fun, and it's completely seamless. It just happens. And for me, that's something we couldn't have done last generation. And it's something which I think players will have a really tangible benefit from every time they choose to play the game. So for me, as a designer, that's a win-win. Right? It is huge, and it's huge, I guess, for a number of different reasons. You know, so obviously Drivatar, I guess, to go back to your previous question, is another example of technology we couldn't have done last generation. First came into being on Forza Motorsport 5 at the launch of Xbox One. It uses Xbox Live, it uses the cloud to store and distribute these Drivatar profiles. And in terms of being just an incredibly sophisticated system for replicating the way real players drive, it's brilliant. It proved that in Forza Motorsport 5. It actually proves it if you've got to any of the races in your playthrough. It proves it in our game as well. But there's actually more to it than that for me. Now when I'm driving around my open world playing the game, and I've been doing this at home with my actual gamer tag recently in the last couple of days, I see my friends driving around my world even when they're not online. You know, so I see the cars they're driving, I see the liveries they have, and it's kind of special, you know, because I know these people. When I next speak to them in real life, maybe I see them at the office, I say, hey, I was racing against you, or I saw you drive past me in your camper van, or whatever, you know. And we actually have a conversation in real life about something that the Drivatars did in the game, and for me that's magical.